Well, if there's one thing that I've learned in 20 years of bear hunting, that is that bears are on their own time schedule, and there's very little that you can do to influence when they come to a bait. However, what you can do is be really patient and just work the bears carefully. Make sure you got quality bait in front of them, and just stay with it and don't hunt at the wrong times, which is what I've done here over the last couple weeks. Now, things have been really difficult. We have had, I'm pretty sure, 7 of the last 9 days it's rained. It's just been really tough. I got lots of bears on this bait. They're coming at all hours of the night, and some of the smaller ones are coming anywhere between 3 p.m. and dark. And the big issue is, can I get the big ones to come in before the end of legal shooting light? Now, here's the deal. I started out with 3 really big bears on this bait. Scarface, Big Slick, and the belly dragger bear. Scarface vacated the bait basically, I think he's only been back once since the season opened almost 2 weeks ago. Big Slick was really predictable, had a couple close calls with him. I've been watching carefully the bear I call belly dragger, who is an absolute giant. And he is really super cautious, but he went from coming in later in, in 2 or 3 hours after dark, and as I've just stayed out of here, he is now coming in a little bit earlier. Last night he came in at 7:36, which is a half an hour before the end of legal shooting light. I almost hunted yesterday, but the wind was wrong, and I'm really glad that I did not, because my wind would have blown right to where he came in from, and it would have definitely decreased my chances of getting him tonight. But so now my odds are really good of getting him tonight. Like I said, there's just nothing you can do to really influence when the bears come. But the fact that he has come in twice now before the end of legal shooting light and been unmolested and got some good food to eat, that's a positive thing. Okay, another issue that we've had is, because of all this rain, the bait was just a sloppy mess. And I noticed that the bears, they were coming in and they would eat for, a half hour or so. They were really feeding good. And then with all this rain, the bait just, there's bread and pastries in there that's just mush, and the trail mix, they're kind of picking at the trail mix and stuff like that. Instead of staying for half an hour, they're staying for 5 or 10 minutes. And so what I did today is I went in there and I took a shovel and a rake, and I just scooped all the remaining bait off to the side and moved the crib and put new fresh pastries in there today and a bucket of trail mix. Gave it a shot of Northwood's Gold Mist on the bushes. And I just feel really good about this evening. All right, I got settled in here. Man, it is just a beautiful day to be in the woods. The wind is right. It's partial sunshine today. It's about 70 degrees. I don't care if I kill a bear. Okay, that's a lie. I really do want to kill a bear tonight. So, I'll show you the bait here. Yes, if you've been watching these videos as it's gone along, you'll see that this has changed a lot. This is where I moved the bait off of the spot where it got all sloppy. And there's been a bear in my tree stand and in my tree again today. And the bear has been up here breaking off branches and eating the acorns, and this is the second time I've seen signs of that. There's a lot of broken branches here. But I'm in a really nice big oak tree, and I'm well concealed up here. We are going to see some bears tonight. I can just about guarantee it. So let's settle in here. It's just a beautiful evening to be in the woods, and that's when you see the most bears. So here we go. Well, it's the morning after, and I've got bad news and good news. The bad news is that I lost the opportunity of a lifetime last night. The good news is that we do not have a mortally wounded or severely wounded bear. Just let me walk you through it a little bit. About 7 o'clock I had two bears come in, one of which fed at the bait for a while. The other one was just really nervous, and they came together, which is fairly unusual, but I've got cell phone camera pictures of these and covert scouting camera pictures of these two bears, and they're together a lot. They're both really nice bears, between 250 and 300 pounds. When the bear fed for quite a while, and I looked at him and I'm like, that is a really nice bear. He's got a beautiful pelt on him. He's an adult male. But there's two absolute giants on this bait, so I let him go. And for the first time this year, when he walked away, I had just a twinge of regret, where I thought, you know, I might regret passing up that bear. But I just really felt there was a good chance that I was going to see belly dragger before the end of legal shooting light, and I did. He came in between 7:35 and 7:40, and the end of legal shooting light is 8:01 yesterday. And he walked right to the base of my tree and just stood there and kind of looked around for a moment, and then he walked towards the bait. And when he was about halfway to the bait, I got my bow off the hanger and got everything going. When I first saw him in person, I realized that I significantly underestimated his size from the trail camera pictures. You know, I've been saying this bear's, I've been thinking is between 350 and 400. I've been calling him 350 on camera, just because I prefer to be wrong that way than the other way, and conservative. But I realistically thought this bear might hit 400. Well, when he walked to the bait and I saw him in person for the first time, I realized he was well over 400 pounds. He's a giant. He got a huge head on him too, way over Pope and Young minimums, maybe close to Boone and Crockett minimums. So anyway, he just, after he looked over the area, he just rolled in. I mean, he just walked right up there, turned broadside. When he turned broadside, I drew, and I knew that I was going to just take the first shot opportunity that I had. And I got the pin on him, and his left leg was back a little bit, and he was kind of turned towards me a little bit. He might have just caught motion out of the corner of his eye when he saw me drew or something like that. But so I just had the pin on him, and I thought I really liked him to open up those ribs a little better. Well, he just did. Just as soon as I thought that, he opened up the ribs a little better, and I touched off the shot. Well, he turned to the right to give me the shot and immediately turned back. So two bad things happened here. Number one, right as I committed to the shot, he turned and put that left leg back, so the arrow went between his front legs. And I didn't know that until I saw it on the big screen on my computer screen at home. I didn't even realize where the hit was. So I heard it hit him, but I saw the luminoc on the ground, and the sound it made was really weird. It was like a loud pop, and I thought, that's really a strange sound for, going through a bear that size. In fact, a bear that size is really, really wide, and you really got to push an arrow at a high speed to get an arrow all the way through a bear and that far into the ground on the other side of him. So I started having doubts about the shot. But I waited about 10-15 minutes and went down and looked at the arrow, and the arrow was buried in the ground at least 6 inches, so that gave me cause for concern. I pulled the arrow out, and it just had fat, a little bit of blood, and hair on it. And at that point, I became pretty worried that I might have hit him in the brisket or something like that. And he ran about 30 yards and just stopped. I could hear him crash, and then he just stopped. And I thought, well, he either just laid down or he's just walking slowly. So I took a few steps down his exit trail, and I found a couple spots of blood. And then at that point, I'm like, I just got to go back and put this video on the big screen and see exactly what I've got here. And as soon as I brought it up on my computer screen at home and played the footage, I realized what happened. The arrow just went through just the flesh, or not, just the fat of his brisket, and did not contact any. I mean, he's not by any stretch mortally wounded. So I guess that's the good news, but my chances to shoot that bear again this year probably are pretty well zero. I've got other bears on that bait. I've got to decide what to do from here. I hardly slept at all last night, and I thought, I just running this over in my mind, trying to figure out what I did wrong, and everything felt right. Well, I thought, I'm just going to check my bow, and I realized, shoot, I haven't even shot my bow since the season opened. I've been so busy with baiting and everything like that, and I have a job too. I had some deadlines for magazine articles and so forth. I just haven't taken the time to shoot my bow, and it's been banging around. It's in the case when it's in the truck, but it's been banging around on the four-wheeler and stuff like that. And so I took my bow out this morning and shot it, and much to my shock, the first two shots were like 8 inches low. And realistically, I don't know what happened or when it happened, but I'm just working on getting it dialed back towards the bullseye right now. But at some point, this bow, this sight, got jimmied off. There's a part of me that doesn't even want to show this to the world, because I'm 100% responsible for it. I should have shot my bow. I don't know when it happened. It could have happened a week ago, I should be shooting my bow more often, and typically I'm more diligent than that. But so I just wanted to share this with you because maybe you can learn something from it, and we can all learn from each other's mistakes. But I'm pretty heartbroken right now, and just trying to decide how to proceed from here. So I'm sorry this got so long, but I just wanted to share the whole story with you so you understood, and maybe you can take something away.